Hello, everybody. It's Football Psyche, and I'm Coach Man Mike.
It's Large Sarge, ready to go.
All right, and we are continuing our predictions of the NFL divisions and how we think they're going to do within the standings, which brings us to what we're going to talk about today, which is the AFC West.
Last one in the series tonight. 3 questions, as always. How will the AFC West team standings change in 2024? What are the biggest questions surrounding every team in the AFC West? And what are we most excited to see from each team? Oh, we're going to get into this one, Coach Mad Mike.
Oh, let's get into it, baby. All right, before we get into it, though, we are going to go over NFL key dates. As you all know, we are in the heart of OTAs. This is going to go on for a little while until we get to mid to late July when training camp starts, right? So the one particular part of note in there is the 17th of July when the franchise deadline is. That is not to declare a franchise tag. That is to sign your franchise tag selectees to contracts. And then after training camps, football will be back. And we will be back in the preseason. I can't wait. All right, so we talked about the Week 1 regular schedule last week when it was released. Today, we want to focus on, well, the AFC West. The opener, obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to go up against the Baltimore Ravens. How do you see the same playing out?
I see the Chiefs falling to the Ravens.
Oh, my
God. At
goodness.
home, just like they did to the Lions last year.
2-time defending champions going to struggle out the gate just like they did last year.
Struggling. Oh, yeah. Ravens fans, Louie, talk to me. Am I right or am I wrong?
Hey, you know what? I think you're so right on this one. The only thing I don't like about the Ravens, and I've kind of been poo-poo on this before, is I just don't like their guard situation. They lost 2 veteran guards. They brought in Henry. I think Henry is a phenomenal addition, but I don't think he's probably even happy the fact that they lost 2 veteran guards. And that's probably their biggest problem, but I am still pretty high on them. And I think that the Chiefs are going to struggle to try to three-peat.
Coach Man Mike, just a question. Do you think Henry has a 100-yard rushing game against the Chiefs or not?
Ooh, what a good question.
I say he's going to go for 100. I say they're going to pound the rock. They're going to pound the rock.
I tell you what, I mean, you might want to do it when those guards are fresh, right? I think later in the year, it might be a little bit more troubling for them. But yeah, maybe. I think so. I mean, I think he's going to be fired up in the new digs and, he's going to be ready.
Got a new uniform on, feeling his oats a little bit. Oh, yeah.
And you can't exactly zoom in on him, right? You can't, commit to the run because Lamar Jackson, could play the read option on you, and next thing you know, he's breaking it. So you got to be careful. You got to watch your assignments.
Play assignment football. Got a lot to deal with.
Oh yeah. So it's gonna be fun. I'm actually excited. So what a great game to kick off the NFL season. So another game we want to talk about here is the only divisional matchup in the AFC West, when you have the Las Vegas Raiders going up against the Los Angeles Chargers. What do you see this one coming out as?
Coach Man Mac, I know you ain't going to agree with me on this. I'm going with Raider Nation.
Raider
Nation, baby.
Oh, my goodness. You're going with Raider Nation. Well, you're right. I'm not going to agree with you on that one. I'm thinking the Chargers. I think Jim Harbaugh has a good shot at his opening debut of getting Justin Herbert where he needs to be. Now, there's issues in there that we're going to talk about here a little bit, but I just have this feeling that they might be able to take the Raiders. It's going to be a good game, don't you think?
I think it's going to be a great game. Both teams have issues, which we'll get into, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a tight one, and I'm glad that we don't completely agree on that one because, that's going to make that game a little bit more fun to watch. And then the other division, well, it's not a divisional game, but the other divisional team that's this week that we didn't talk about was the Denver Broncos, and they'll be playing in Seattle for week 1. So they'll be on the road for week 1 playing against the Seahawks. How do you see that one coming out?
I got my golf club.
You got your golf club.
Sean Payton.
A golfer.
Seattle. By a mile.
You're calling Seattle over the Denver Broncos. So
over a golfer for a quarterback? Yeah. Yeah, we'll get into that one too. Oh, yeah.
Still on the golfer quarterback situation with Bo Nix. All right. Well, we will find that one out. I am not sure which way I'm going to go on this one, but I would probably venture to say, oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is kind of a snoozer game for me. I don't know if I really even want to watch this game.
What are you talking about? Howell is with the Seahawks. We got to watch it. We got to watch it.
But we don't know if he's starting or not. We don't know if Sam Howell's starting. They might start Geno Smith.
Either one. It's better than
I don't know. I might not even watch that game.
Ooh, he's got to watch that game. I'm going to be watching that game.
For the Broncos and CO Facts on here, you can beat me up in the comments section. As a matter of fact, all of you guys apparently don't know how to use the comment section. Make your comments below. Watch the video, and if you got something to say it. Put the comments below. I will write you back. We actually want to use our typing fingers. So please put your comments together. If you're not subscribed, which over 60% of the people who watch our videos are not subscribed to us, please subscribe to this channel.
All right, let's get into it. We promise to keep you entertained.
Keep you entertained. All right, you're up.
Oh, Kansas City Chiefs, who my Lions love to hate on. So, marquee additions this year. Okay, so they got Irv Smith as tight end, and they got Marquise Brown as a wide receiver, who they needed to get because who did they lose? Quintez Scantlin.
They sure did.
Huge loss. Second, Rice, who was crap during the beginning of the year, carried them through the playoffs and got them to the Super Bowl and a win. He's in a lot of trouble.
Got some legal issues.
So I know you got Willie Gay on here, but Quintez Scantlin is not on this list here. But that was a huge loss because he was the part of the Chiefs from Mahomes in the beginning of the year, right?
That's true.
Right? Got through the first part, got good, and then Rice finally found his game towards the end of the year. So it's hard to say what's going to happen. I love Pacheco. You know I love me some Pacheco at running back. I think they got a running game still. I don't think that's suffered. They got some depth at tight end because they picked up some stuff in the draft, and they picked up stuff in free agency, which I think is going to back up my boy. It's wide receiver. That I think they need help at. But you got Patrick Mahomes. I think that guy could throw a ball to a dummy, to a slap dummy.
To a slap dummy, huh?
I tell you what, a slap dummy can catch a ball from Patrick Mahomes. So
you brought up a good point about your wide receiver loss, but I think Marquise Brown is going to be all right. He comes from the Bengals. I think he's going to be in good order, and I'm very excited to watch Xavier Worthy. Like when it was combine time, this guy was projected to be like a 3rd or 4th round pick. When he ran the fastest time in the combine, a 4.21 40, he immediately became a 1st round grade. They were like, holy crap, this guy's fast.
You think he's got Hill's kind of speed?
He ran a 4.21.
I mean,
40. That's fast as crap.
Yeah,
he set the freaking record.
He's got the speed.
He set the record. So, I mean, when you got a guy who sets a combine record for the 40 time, that's blazing fast.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how strong he is. I'm not a Texas fan of watching Texas football. I don't know how great his route running is and everything else they're doing, but you can't teach speed, man. When you're that fast, if you can catch the ball,
wait.
Patrick Mahomes is going to get it to you.
This is a Coach Mad Mike moment. You can't teach speed.
You can't teach speed.
I agree.
Otherwise, I might have had a shot.
100% agree. 100% agree. And I think they did the right thing with what they had, getting Suamataya as an offensive tackle.
Yeah, and we'll talk about them on the next slide a little bit when we show the depth chart.
I think the Chiefs did what they needed to do. they got what they got. It was, they had salary cap issues with Quintez, $12 million they needed to get back. So, I mean, it is what it is. I think they came through. Andy Reid's Andy Reid. That ain't changed. Mahomes is Mahomes. That ain't changed. Kelsey's Kelsey. That ain't changed. And Pacheco is Pacheco. That has not changed.
It has not changed. So one thing I would tell you about, at least for the Kansas City Chiefs, here is their projected, and I got to emphasize the word projected, as much as you can project when it's an OTAs. These guys haven't put on pads yet. There's some competition battles that are going on. So when we put up a depth chart this early, don't beat us up about it. Or you can put your little comments in and beat up about it. Go ahead. Get them fingers working. And go ahead and beat us up about it. I'm okay with it. All right. And but this is what currently says is the projected starting lineups. All right.
Worthy might be crazy, man. Coach Mike, Worthy might be crazy with that speed. It just might be ridiculous. They might have found Hill number 2, right?
Yeah. And I think Marquise Brown is going to be pretty good too. And Rice will, once he gets his legal, Rice is facing a suspension for the personal conduct policy.
If they lose Rice, they're in trouble.
They might be a little bit. But how do you define trouble when you still got Patrick Mahomes? You can throw somebody else out there.
Well, it's a chance for another player to shine, right? Move up the rope.
Move on up.
Climb up a step on that ladder, right?
That's right.
Mahomes will make a pro out of you, a Pro Bowl player, right? You got Mahomes throwing. You got a chance to get to the Pro Bowl.
So with Kingsley, and I can't pronounce the guy's last name, but Kingsley, the number 2 overall, or the number 2 draft pick that they selected, he's going to be competing with Wanya Morris for the left tackle spot. And I wouldn't be surprised if the rookie beats him out. That's a position battle to watch.
Strong call.
I would not be surprised. So
they're trying to do a three-peat, so everyone's playing for that.
Everyone's fighting their butt off, man.
And the whole rest of the league is playing against it, right?
Yeah, they're going to go with the person they think is going to help them win.
Yep.
But yeah, I think the big question mark you had was the wide receiver issues. I have a tendency to agree with you.
All right. My Raider Nation. When Large Sarge was Tiny Sarge, the Raiders.
There was
a time when Large Sarge was Tiny Sarge, and the Raiders was my team. There is always a little tiny piece of the heart in there that goes out to the Raider Nation,
How many teams do you like, man?
and I got on the Raider Nation. Tinker Hell, if you were watching, we miss you. And I'm sending a shout out to Tinker Hell. If y'all go back and watch our videos, you'll know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, you got to be a fan of the show to know. So
I'm confused here, man. So so they picked up Minshew. Okay, I get it. I really do get they picked up Minshew. But they lost Josh Jacobs. What the hell? What? However, they picked up a running back.
They did.
You know who that running back is?
It's on the depth chart on the next slide.
I'll tell you who it is.
Who is it? You want me to flip to it?
Nope. I got it. His name is Zamir White.
White.
Who Zamir White is? Where he came from?
Or should tell us.
Baltimore.
That's right.
And Zamir
they didn't need him no more because they got Henry.
Zamir White is a complete back. Zamir White finished last year, not 1,000 yards, but close, double-digit touchdowns, and Zamir White actually produced 3.21 yards after contact, which ranked him 10th in the league last year.
Oh.
So
he got a little
had my initial doubts about this, I can't tell a lie.
3.1 yards after contact?
After contact.
Wow.
10th in the league.
I'll take some of that.
Yeah, and I think that's why I'm telling you the Raiders are going to beat the Chargers in the first game. Because I think they got it going on. I think they got it going on.
But
so they got a draft pick in round 2 that's projected to start, which we'll get into. They got Brock Bowers as a tight end. The real question for me is the quarterback situation.
That's a big question mark. You can't win football games without a quarterback.
Minshew is Minshew. I mean, you read all the news, and it's a toss-up. It's a competition, but
It is.
Connell's got the better arm, the longer arm. Minshew's better on short yardage downs. Are they going to be a running team or a passing team? I don't know. The
Nobody
big
does.
question for me is quarterback, really. Like,
And
really?
I think that's going to hurt them.
Yep. Well, it could. It could, but it's a new crew, no OC. They got some stuff going on. Bowers ought to be a great. I mean, he's a third. I mean, he'd finish in top, number 13 in round 1. That guy is solid. So we'll see what happens and who they play. But it's Raider Nation, baby. They're going to be tough.
I get in the first round drafting Brock Bowers. I really do.
Yeah.
He is a generational type of tight end. Like, this guy has a chance to be a beast. But when you are in the first round and you're in a top 15 pick, and with how many quarterbacks are on the board and the power to potentially move up to get a quarterback, and you don't take
a golfer.
Could have had a golfer.
Got a golfer. But they didn't. They went for a tight end, but they missed the golfer.
Oh my gosh. Missed the golfer. All right. Well, talk to me about this. You already told me about Zamir White.
Yeah, as I looked at it this week, preparing for this video, Coach Matt and Mike, you know what? I became a Zamir White fan. I think this kid's he is the breakout candidate of the year, I think. You watch.
Okay. I will watch. I will tell you.
I've become a believer. That was a good move. That was a good Jacobs replacement.
I tell you,
he's
there's
a
a few
third-year
other
man.
players.
He's got a lot of room to run, and he's good at catching. This kid, you watch this kid.
So, I mean, you got to hope for the Raiders that he does produce a lot, because I am not very impressed with the quarterback room. I will tell you, there are a few players on here that are going to be interesting to watch, right? So, first of all, for me, watching Brock Bowers, they got to have somebody get him the ball. But I think if you get him the ball, he's as a check down option and those types of things, and some design plays that go to him, he's going to be fun to watch. I think another one that's going to be interesting for a trenches kind of guy, if you're like one of those trenches, like you like the fight that's happening in the trench, right? The Jackson Power Johnson thing, where he played his career in college as a center, and he could potentially be a starting right guard. That's going to be very interesting to break down. Is he able to do that and do that well?
Right behind him. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then defensively, it's going to be fun just to watch Christian Wilkins in this defense. That's going to be fun to watch.
Go back one slide, Coach Mad Mike, because I didn't even mention that. That's the biggest move ever for the Raiders. Getting that boy on defense. Oh my God, did they upgrade? They're going to kick the Chargers from one end of that field to the other.
Yeah, it was definitely an upgrade over Nichols for sure.
Oh boy. Let's go. Let's see if he got hungry when he went to Raider Nation. Let's go. Let's see. This is going to be a good game. We got to watch this game.
How do you not go to Raiders Nation and not have an attitude?
Exactly, right?
Nasty
attitude.
As soon as you become a Raider, like, you got to change as an individual. Like, you just got to become like this hungry, like, vicious dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like, if I became one, immediately my whole mentality would change. I'd be just like, I'm a Raider now. I'm a Raider.
My pirate.
It just makes you want to growl, don't it?
So here's my prediction. If it's going to be Minshew, I think Bowers gets a lot of balls. If it's going to be O'Connell, I think he's going to light Devontae Adams up like a firecracker.
Interesting.
I don't think Minshew has the arm to catch up to Adams. I think he's just going to piss Devontae off. O'Connell does, but then you're going to throw a pick, or 8, right?
Right, so right. Well, let's move on. Denver Broncos now is the next one on the board. That's my team that I have that I'm supposed to have to do the analytical breakdown for. So key additions they had: Brandon Jones, safety, Malcolm Roach. Not overly impressed with either one of those. Key subtractions: Russell Wilson, which was the shocker of the offseason, to accumulate $85 million of dead cap space. That tells you that Sean Payton was disgusted by what he saw.
How
Nobody's going to
pissed
say
off
that
do you
but
have
me, but he must have been disgusted
How
and
pissed
said,
off do you
I
have to
want
be?
him out of the building.
You trade Russell Wilson for a golfer. How
For a
pissed
golf,
off do you
but
have
we'll get
to
to the
be?
golfer and say that wasn't a trade, but like, he basically ran Russell Wilson out the building and said, I would rather assume an $85 million cap hit than to have you in my locker room. That's bold.
Coach Mad Mike, just imagine for a second being a fly on the wall when Peyton walks in and tells the owner that's what he wants to do.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
let's role play that a second. Sir, I have an idea. Things aren't just working in the quarterback room that they want. And I really think we need someone who's got a smooth stroke, got his cleats on right and his tidy whites where they need to be. I think we need kind of a golfer. And I think we need to get rid of Russell Wilson. What do you think, sir?
We owe him a lot of money. And if we were to let him go, he would cost us $85 million of cap space. How would we recover from that?
Sir, I'm going to get you a new quarterback, a new shiny penny who's got smooth moves, just like a golfer. And I totally believe it's a worthwhile investment to lose $89 million. I really believe it. And if you trust me as your head coach, I'm going to get it done for you. What do you think, sir?
I don't know how you get there logically.
I don't know either.
I don't know how you do that.
I wanted to be in that room.
And so you know what happened? You would have thought for sure they would have moved up in the draft and take one of the top 4 quarterbacks.
Oh, my God.
No, they held.
Oh, my God.
And they go with Bo Nix, who Sean Payton's already compared to as a golfer. If you guys don't know Large Sarge's skit thing that he's doing there, he compared him to a golfer. Like, he's smooth like a golfer.
It's still killing me. If that's Bo Nix, I'd quit.
I'm not sure if I was a quarterback, I'd want to be compared to a golfer. But
oh, God.
He was.
God. In what context is that a good comparison?
I don't even get it, honestly. I guess it means like you're smooth or whatever, but like, I don't know. I'd be like, Coach, really? You had to compare me to a golfer? Like,
unbelievable.
Golfers don't take hits. They shouldn't.
Unbelievable.
So anyway, looking at that, that's the big question mark for this team is how is Bo Nix going to bear out? I mean,
you got Javonte Williams. Okay.
I'm telling you, Sean Payton, it's a good thing he's a Super Bowl winning coach, that he's very, very well established and known within the league, because no other coach in the NFL, I don't think, would be able to pull this off. To get rid of your starting quarterback and Russell Wilson, take price. An $85 million cap hit, and then you don't trade up in the draft and you let Bo Nix just fall to you and go like, oh, yeah, that's my guy.
I'm gonna tell you how, Coach Mad Mike, because you're Sean Payton and you're smart, and you go out and you steal a Detroit Lion named Josh Reynolds, and you put him in a starting role and give Bo Nix a target to hit, a pair of sure hands. That's how you do it.
Josh Reynolds wasn't all that in Detroit. Smooth. So then that brings us, because we got to move on. All right. It brings up the Los Angeles Chargers.
Woo-hoo!
Los Angeles Chargers. All right. Who had some marquee additions in Denzel Berryman. All right. Bozeman. Gus Edwards, which is probably the most interesting one after losing Austin Eckler. But the losses on this team are insane. You lose Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler? Are you kidding me right now?
And you're going to go for the Chargers over the Raiders? Coach Mad Mike.
Yeah, because there's an interesting aspect off of this that I find kind of interesting. And this is what I kind of find. I was shocked, as most people in the draft, when they took Joe Alt at number 5. I had him going like number 8 in my mock draft, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I get it. He is a key. Like, he was the best offensive tackle on the board by far. It wasn't even disputed. It was him, and then there was everybody else. Like, there's a huge drop-off between him and the person behind him. Like, he's clearly the best. And I'm like, okay, I get it because, Jim Harbaugh is a running kind of guy.
Right.
And so I was just kind of shocked about the Austin Eckler thing.
It looks like that's what he's putting together.
It
looks like that's his game plan.
It just shocks me that he would let Keenan Allen go.
I mean,
I get it.
Herbert had to take his hat off and throw his hat down and say, I'm done with this. I mean,
but he got Ladd McConkey. So if they
you
truly
like
believe in the kid from Georgia,
you like McConkey.
Yeah, he's a good guy. So, like, if you believe in him and you believe that you're primarily going to be focusing on the run, I can understand the big left tackle.
They lost 2 wide receivers.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, but Mike Williams at this particular point in time is not okay. I'm okay with it, but like you still have a glaring hole, I think.
Yeah. McConkey's going to fill both slots? We'll see who they got. No. We'll talk about who they got.
Yeah. So let's take a look at that just for a second. All right. So, I think one of the big draws to the Los Angeles Chargers for Jim Harbaugh was he was in love with Justin Herbert being a quarterback. He really felt like he would be able to execute his scheme of what he was trying to do to build this team. And with the running game that it was, I'm a little shocked about Gus Edwards, but if there's anybody that's going to be improved over 810 yards and 13 touchdowns, it's going to be Gus Edwards because the system's going to be built towards him. Right? So he's going to get every opportunity. Now, I
got to call an audible.
Sean.
I got an audible. Hold a sec. Run, Gus. That's the
Run, Gus.
No passing game. Run, Gus.
And so their starting left tackle that they got onto the draft, they're actually going to put him at right, as you can see on the chart, because they're going to go with Sean Slater at left. Not a bad move. Their offensive line looks pretty solid, actually. So when you look at that and you're like, okay, you got Quentin Johnson, Josh Palmer, Ladd, you don't really know who the true number one of this team is. Like, who's the number one receiver out of that bunch? I don't know.
If he's really gone that direction, which I think we both think he is, run first, pass second, and you got Herbert sitting back there, that boy could hit the broadside of a barn at 400 yards. So it could be something.
That ball's coming towards your face, so you might as well catch it.
It could be something, right? Because when Herbert does pass, it's going to be good, right?
And they have Densley, so you can't go wrong with Densley either. So
yeah,
I mean that's the reason why I kind of favor the Chargers over the Raiders.
All right.
We'll see, right?
We'll have some fun that first week.
When you look at the defense is like strong and they're sick, man. When you got Joey Bosa and you got Khalil Mack, I mean, oh my goodness, man, they're coming.
I mean, they got the bookends, right? But I mean, so I didn't see any detraction from defense.
Regardless of which Raiders quarterback starts, he's gonna be freaking worried about getting his head freaking ripped off.
Yeah.
When you got Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa coming at you.
True.
Harbaugh's
a smart guy, man. You can't underestimate Harbaugh. He's sneaky.
Can't underestimate Harbaugh. All right, so that brings us to our standing predictions here. So last year we see the results. It's very, very interesting when you look at our projections. A common theme: we expect everybody in this division to decline. Starting with the top, Kansas City Chiefs.
We talked about this, didn't we, Coach Mad Mike? We talked about it a bit.
We did.
We agonized over it a little bit,
as we always do on trying to project things out. But we beat this division up.
Yeah, we did.
I'm just not really impressed with what I see.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm just not real impressed with what I see across the board in this division. I think the AFC East is going to struggle. I still see the Chiefs winning the division, but I do not think that they're going back to the Super Bowl.
Coach Mad Mike, did we call the Chargers wrong after that review? Did we call them wrong? Should they be 7-10? Could they be 7-10?
I'm not going to second guess it because we did put a lot of thought into it. So I'm not going to over sweat it over a game.
I mean, you could flip the Chargers and the Raiders pretty much interchangeably,
you
right?
Could.
That could go either way.
You really could. I actually think the Chargers might take the first game, and you don't know, but like depending on, when we did this, one thing we didn't do, and for the fan base that's out there, we didn't really compare everybody they're playing on their schedule, whether or not it would be a win or a loss.
Yeah, we didn't look at
do that
schedule either.
right? We just kind of figured based off of like how well they did last year and what additions to subtractions, whether we think that they were an improved team
Right.
or they were a declining team. Obviously, who they're playing in the schedule plays a part in that, and we didn't really consider that.
Yeah, you're right.
When you guys look at that and go, I see 8 wins here, or I see 7 wins in there, put it in the comments. I would love to hear your guys' comments on that.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Tell us what your analysis is. Love to hear it. Love to hear it.
Do we disagree on the Broncos, though?
Nah, I think we're good, man. I think they're like, I think they got 4 wins in them.
They might be low enough to get a new quarterback next year.
They might be very much in the market.
Instead of a golfer.
Yeah, let's go ahead and call it right now. They're not going to be happy. Sean Payton is not going to be happy with Bo Nix. He'll be ready to run him out of the locker room after 1 year because he'll be like, he's worse than Russell Wilson. Then he's going to be like looking for a new quarterback.
Who knows? You know, I mean, it's a crap. You know, it's a crap.
Sean Payton spent so many years with Drew Brees. It's hard to fill those kind of shoes.
Oh my God.
Like,
it's kind of like Belichick losing Brady. He's lost in the sauce. And I think this boy's the same. Once him and Drew Brees separated, he was lost in the sauce.
Lost in the sauce, man. And he
so
realized Russell Wilson isn't going to do that. Can you imagine the pressure on Bo Nix? Like, wait a minute, he ran Russell Wilson out of here?
I have a deeper question.
I'm already expected to be better than him.
You cost me $89 million, boy. And if you don't produce at least a winning season, you think Peyton's job's on the line?
Nah, because Sean Payton's probably got a pretty solid footing in the door, but they're going to have some conversations because he'll probably come back and be like, okay, well, you need to hit on your next quarterback because if you got Sean Payton is very, very solid. Broncos don't really spit out guys that badly.
If the Broncos pull a 4-13, Peyton's job is on the line. It has to be after costing the team $89 million.
They'll give him another year. Because listen, here's the other thing. With that much dead cap space, there's not too many coaches that want to come into a situation until that clears up.
And that's why you're the coach.
You got this year and next year to clear it up. I say if he does bad this year, he's on the hot seat next year.
That's why you're the coach.
Right? And then it would make sense to put him on the hot seat next year because if you don't perform after you've had 3 years to try to get things around, by then all your disaster of your call to cause all that dead cap space gets cleared up, and a coach is more they look at the job a lot more favorably that they don't walk into a nasty situation like that.
Got an audible. Get your crap together, Peyton, or you're gone.
All right, everybody. Well, that is the AFC West. And I'll tell you what, not so excited about this division, but one thing we are excited about is we just finished all of our analysis of the AFC. Starting next week, we are going to start with the NFC North. So you're going to want to pay attention, especially with Large Sarge and what we think his Lions are going to do.
Oh, boy, I got some data for you.
Got some data. All right, well, that's it for everybody. This is Football Psyche. We're out of here.
Whoop, 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 whoop.